Hello everybody, so today we're finally going to do a video that I promised to do and start on, but it's been a lot going on. But now we are finally getting into East and North Africa, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about Sudan. Now I haven't really been in much research with Sudan because of how busy I've been, so we're going to do our best to go through this together. And I'm excited because Sudan is it's a very interesting country in Africa, and um, there's a lot to it. So this video will lead into many other videos. As I've done with certain videos in West Africa, I've expanded on those. I believe some of them at least, but not all of them. So Sudan is actually in North Africa, and it's pretty much like bordered, yeah, by Egypt and all in those places. So it says Sudan, um, officially the Republic of Sudan, is a country in Northeast Africa, and it's bordered by Egypt to the north, Libya to the northwest, Chad to the west, the Central African Republic to the southwest, South Sudan to the south, Ethiopia to the southeast, Eritrea to the east, and the Red Sea to the northeast. It says Sudan has a population of 43 million. That was the estimate in 2018, and I'm pretty sure it's probably changed since then, and occupies 1,880. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm not going to read that number right now. 1,886,068 square kilometers, making it Africa's third largest country and also the third largest in the Arab world. It was the largest country in Africa and the Arab world by area before the 2011 South Sudan succession. Is that succession? I hope so. It says Sudan's history goes back to the pharaonic period, witnessing the kingdom of Kerma, which was around 2500 BC to 1500 BC. The subsequent rule of the Egyptian New Kingdom, which was 1500 BC to 1070 BC, and the rise of the Kingdom of Kush, which was 785 BC to 350 AD, which would in turn control Egypt itself for nearly a century. It says, after the fall of Kush, the Nubians formed the three Christian kingdoms of Nobatia, I hope I'm saying that right, Makuria, and Alodia, with the later two lasting until around 1500. Between the 14th and 15th centuries, much of Sudan was settled by Arab nomads. And it says, from the 16th and 19th centuries, central and eastern Sudan were dominated by the Funj Sultanate, while Darfur ruled the west and Ottomans the far north. This period saw extensive Islamization and Arabization. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Islam and Arabs, that makes sense. Sorry, that was supposed to be something else. So when I go here to iExplore, because iExplore actually, not iExplore, but this had a lot of good information on Sudan, or Sudan. Open. Okay, here we go. So it says orientation. It says that in the Middle Ages, Arabs named the area that is present-day Sudan, Bilad al-Sudan, or land of the black people. The north is primarily Arab Muslims, whereas the south is largely black African and not Muslim. That's interesting. So the north is primarily Arab Muslims, and the south is black African and not Muslim. There is strong animosity between the two groups, and each has its own culture and traditions. Where there is more than one group in the south, while there is more than one group in the south, their common dislike for the North Arabs has proved a uniting force among these groups. I didn't even know there was a tension between the North and the South. It's kind of like here in America. not really tension between the North and the South, but everybody has their preconceived notions of how people in the South are and how people in the North are. Um, Orientation, identification. In the Middle Ages, Arabs, no, sorry, I already read that. Location and geography. Sudan is in Africa, south of Egypt. It shares borders with Egypt, Libya, Chad, the Central African Republic, the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Well, I didn't know that. Uganda, Kenya, and Ethiopia. It is the largest country in Africa and the ninth largest in the world, which we know already. We learned that. Um, Covering 1 million square miles, which is 2.59 million square kilometers. The White Nile flows through the country, emptying into Lake Nubia in the north, the largest man-made lake in the world. The northern part of the country is desert, spotted with oases or oases. Either way, it sounds the same, where most of the population is concentrated. To the east, the Red Sea Hills support some vegetation. The central region is mainly high, sandy plains. The southern region includes grasslands, and along the border with Uganda, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, dense forests. The southern part of the country consists of a basin drained by the Nile, as well as a plateau, and mountains which mark the southern border. These include Mount Kinyeti, the highest peak in Sudan. Rainfall is extremely rare in the north, but profuse in the south, which has a wet season lasting 6 to 9 months. The central region of the country generally gets enough rain to support agriculture, but it experienced droughts in the 1980s and 1990s. The country supports a variety of wildlife, including crocodiles and hippopotamuses in the rivers, elephants, mainly in the south, giraffes, lions, leopards, tropical birds, and several species of poisonous reptiles. Okay. And so we see here it's the capital, Khartoum. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that right. I'm saying that wrong. Lies at the meeting point of the White and Blue Niles, and together with Khartoum North and Omdurman forms an urban center known as the Three Towns, with a combined population of 2.5 million people. Khartoum is the center for commerce and government. Omdurman is the official capital, and North Khartoum or is the industrial center, home to 70% of Sudan's industry or Sudan's industry. Linguistic affiliation. I want to talk about that. There are more than 100 different indigenous languages spoken in Sudan, including Nubian, Tabedawi, and dialects of Nilotic and Nilo-Hamitic languages. Arabic is the official language, spoken by more than half of the population. English is being phased out as a foreign language taught in the schools, although it is still spoken by some people. Okay, all right. Symbolism. The flag adopted at independence had 3 horizontal stripes: blue symbolizing the Nile River, yellow for the desert, and green for the forest and vegetation. Wow. Now we know what the colors stand for and what the colors mean. That's really interesting. This flag was replaced in 1970 with one more explicitly Islamic in its symbolism. It consists of 3 horizontal stripes, red representing the blood of Muslim martyrs. That's funny because right when I was reading that, I was like, what about red? Because red is in the flag. So now we know what that means. It's blood of martyrs, Muslim martyrs. White, which stands for peace and optimism, and black, which represents the people of Sudan and recalls the flag flown by the Mahdi during the 1800s. It has a great triangle at the left border, which symbolizes both agriculture and the Islamic faith. We can go back into history and ethnic relations later because we kind of went into that a little bit at the front. In the beginning, in the intro. National identity. Sudanese tend to identify with their tribes rather than their nation. The country's borders do not follow the geographic divisions of its various tribes, which in many cases spill over into neighboring countries. Since independence, Muslims in the north have attempted to forge a national Sudanese identity based on Arabic culture and language at the expense of Southern cultures. This has angered many Southerners and has proved more divisive than unifying. Within the South, however, the common fight against the North has served to bring together a number of different tribes. Okay. Urbanism, agriculture, and the use of space. Only 25% of the population live in cities or towns. The remaining 75% are rural. Khartoum boasts beautiful tree-lined streets and gardens. It is also home to a large number of immigrants from rural areas who come looking for work and have erected shanty towns on the city's fringes. Let's see, food and economy, or let's pass that. So we can maybe go back to that. Social stratification, political life, marriage, gender roles. Well, we learned that it's kind of like Let me see. Women take care of all domestic tasks and child rearing in rural areas. In rural areas, it is traditional for women to work in the fields as well, while a woman's life in town was traditionally more restricted. It is increasingly common to see females employed outside of the home in urban areas. However, it is still the case that only 29% of the paid workforce is female. Oh, okay. Religion, I think we learned a little bit about that. So, religion beliefs 70% of the population are Sunni Muslim, 25% follow traditional indigenous beliefs, and 5% are Christian. So, the word Islam means submission to God. It shares certain prophets, traditions, and beliefs with Judaism and Christianity. The main difference being the Muslim belief that Muhammad is the first prophet and the embodiment of God or Allah. The foundation of Islamic belief is called the five pillars. The first, Shahada, is profession of faith. The second is prayer or salat. Muslims pray 5 times a day. It is not necessary to go to the mosque. But the call to prayer echoes out over each city or town from the minarets of the holy buildings. The third pillar, zakat, is the principle of almsgiving. The fourth is fasting, which is observed during the month of Ramadan each year, when Muslims abstain from food and drink during the daylight hours. The fifth pillar is the Hajj, the pilgrimage to the holy city of Mecca in Saudi Arabia, which every Muslim must make at some point in his or her life. Wow. Wow, that is interesting. We can definitely go more through this later when I have more time, because I only have like a minute left for this video because my phone only goes to a certain extent when I can upload a video. But I did want to show a famous picture, and this is actually on one of my pages. This picture right here, which is a beautiful picture of Sudan, at least one picture of part of Sudan. It's the some of the architecture and buildings. I wanted to go into like some of the people if I can before this video has to end. But I can't. Well, I can go to her or to him. Yeah. And maybe I can do another video where I show more photos of them. But right now I did so much on the history, which is what I wanted to do, because I want us to learn about these people. Let me see. So I only got like a couple seconds left, but we can get to a couple quick photos. This is South Sudan, people in South Sudan. And then this photo, and then this photo. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye-bye.